Okay, well, there goes my coffee maker. Sorry for the noise. I would like to welcome everybody to the Thursday, July 28th, 2022. Make sure I said got it to the meeting here. 2022 Public Arts Commission meeting. Just to start, John, could you do a roll call and see if we have a quorum?
Yep. Chair Waldman.
Here.
Commissioner Corrigan.
Here.
Commissioner Couture.
Here.
Commissioner Janjigian.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Tasic. And Commissioner Tasic is absent.
Okay.
We do have a quorum.
All right, let's rock and roll through the agenda. I hope everybody's had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from our last meeting way back on June 23rd, 2022. Does anybody have any comments on, well, actually, before I do that, I take that back. Erase what I just said. Are there any comments from the public on items not on the agenda? I don't see anyone from the
There's
public.
no one from the public on.
But, oh, wait a
Oh,
minute. Wait.
Hang on,
Wait.
hang on. Looks like there is now.
The public's ears were burning. And it looks like we have someone from the public. Okay. Now that we have a person from the public and not a commissioner or staff or city council person, I will ask again, do we have any public comments on items not on the agenda? Nope, the crickets are crawling and making noise. So let's go ahead and go into the agenda. Before I go into the agenda, John, if I want to move some agenda items, do I do it? And I asked this last time and I should know the answer. Do I do it now before we go into the agenda?
Yeah, I would recommend that if the commission wants to rearrange the agenda, then we do that now.
Okay, so I'm going to move that we move items 5 and item 7. Item 5 is for a potential mural at the Woodland Library. Item 7 is about the Los Altos Poet Laureate program, that we move those to item 2 and 3 because we have Freddie Wheeler here and she is the chair of the Library Commission and she may have interest in those particular agenda items. Oh, actually, I take that back. Let's move it to item 3 and 4. Let's get the minutes and the vice chair elected. So I'm going to move to do that. All right, sorry about that. So the meeting minutes from our last meeting on June 23rd, 2022, does anyone have anything to add to the meeting minutes or any comments? Nope.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second.
John? I think John froze.
He froze.
Let's give John 1 or 2 seconds here, maybe 3 or 4. John, we can't run the meeting without you. You have to come back. There he is.
Sorry, I am here.
Okay.
Commissioner Corrigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Who is more?
Yes.
Jenna, you're okay.
and Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. Next is the election of the vice chair. Before we do this, John, can you explain what a vice chair does for the rest of the commission?
In the absence of the chair, the vice chair would preside over the meeting.
Okay. Do we, as a formality, do we nominate the vice, who we'd like to see as vice chair, and then take a roll call? Is that how it's done,
Yes.
John? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll go first. I wanted to nominate Janet.
I second that nomination.
I third.
I was going to ask, is there anyone else who has wants to nominate anyone before we go into a roll call? Nope. Okay, John, please take a roll call.
First, we should
Okay.
ask her if she wants to accept.
She has no choice. I mean, yes, of course. Janet, would you accept?
I would be happy to help out in any way I can. So yes, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Corrigan?
Question, is it proper for me to vote or do I need to
Yes.
recuse myself?
You can
No, you
vote
can
for
vote.
yourself, yes.
Okay, all right, yes.
You could also vote no if you wanted to. Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Nomination passes 5-0.
All right, I'm going to flip my agenda over. Since I rearranged the agenda, the next item topic will be the potential mural at Woodland Library. Before we discuss it and discuss what the subcommittee has some ideas, I'm going to ask if there's any comments from the public.
Hello?
Hi, Freddie.
Hi. Yes, I just wanted to say that the Library Commission is very happy to collaborate with the Public Arts Commission on whatever course of action you take. So I'm just here to listen and perhaps pass on information to the Library Commission when we meet next week.
Okay. And can you remind us when your meeting is?
Yes, it's Thursday, August 4th at 6:30.
Okay. And all the information about the meeting, the agenda, and the dial number is available.
It should be soon. I think Mary Jo is going to post our agenda and packet on Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I don't see any other members of the public. I will mention that I went to the last Library Commission meeting, and forgive me for not remembering the date. I should have looked it up before this meeting. And I spoke about items not on the agenda, which included, wasn't a potential mural at Woodland Library, but potential art at Woodland Library. And also I mentioned the Los Altos Poet Laureate program, that they were potential areas of collaboration. And I think that's why Freddie is here, and that's why potentially it's going to be on the agenda. So I've made a couple trips to Woodland Library, and forgive me, I usually go to the main library. Woodland Library is not my home library, so I was not as familiar with it. But for myself going there, I noticed that there's a lot of empty land, which I suspect is for potential expansion at some point. I looked at the garden that Greentown put in, and it did a very lovely job. I looked at the spot where a mural was suggested by our Greentown guest. And my own opinion is that we don't really need a mural there. We probably don't need a sculpture there. I think we really need a meeting space for people, for staff to eat their lunch, for people to take their kids, or just to hang out or discuss poetry or something. I really think there needs to be some outdoor space there. And I'm not sure if that's really part of what the Public Arts Commission should be doing, other than if it's a very artfully done sort of thing, but I'm open to suggestions and ideas. Does anyone have any comments? Jenna, it's the library you go to, but Terry's got her hand up. So Terry.
The only suggestion that I thought that could be nice, depending on, you know, everything else that we have going on, is if we did some kind of, when we did our call for art and somebody had some very awesome looking benches or something of that nature that we could put there, I think that would be nice.
And I think at the last meeting I suggested we could do a call for art for benches that are, you know, bench designs or paint images, either people 18 and under, and maybe one call for people 18 and above. We could do something like that. And maybe that can be discussed at the Library Commission meeting. Jenna, I know that this library is one I think you use, obviously more than I do. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. We talked about the bench. I think that's a great idea if we decide to go that route. Or I think we had mentioned like an arbor too, although I'm not really sure how we would execute that with the call for art. But I agree that the suggested area for the mural, it just seems a little underwhelming to me. It's pretty narrow, and it's just, I don't think it's the best location for art personally. I don't think it would really do the space justice, but I agree. I appreciate the garden, and I think kids and adults would enjoy sitting there looking at the butterflies and flowers, congregating. So
Janet, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was thinking, if we decide to go with the idea of a bench, would it make sense for us to say, hey, this is a proposed thing we're thinking about, and then give it back to the library commission so the library commission can weigh in on it?
Lucy?
Yeah, I was wondering if we're thinking of it to be a community gathering place, we would need more than one bench.
Well, I'd mentioned maybe a bench if we did a call, like do a design for people 18 and under, get the kids involved, and a design for people 18 and over. And I agree, though, I think you'd want more than just like one or two benches, probably, to make it useful.
Right, and I think they should be sort of where they could communicate. If we want it to be a place of communication and gathering.
We
Or
need
do
a
we want it-
conversation pit.
Right. What do you think? I don't know. What do we want it for? To be where they can meet and talk, or just where they can sit individually?
I think meeting and talking is probably what we all need right now. So,
Right. So I think it would be nice to think of it as a grouping. Anyway, it's something for thought, an idea as we go along.
So if I'm hearing my other commissioners, we're thinking that this might be a good idea. We're not sure if it's something in our purview, but maybe I'll try and call into the next library commission meeting. I'm gonna be out of town, but I will try and call in, and maybe this will take some going back and forth between the two commissions to try to figure out. It's not like we can definitively say today, this is what we're doing, but.
No. I think we have to work with them in collaboration, but think of what our aim is, to get people to communicate or just to sit and rest, because there are different ways of putting the benches.
Yes.
Placing them.
Okay. Anything else on this particular topic, or do we want to wait till next month after the library commission has met?
I think we should wait. We can't get too far without it.
Okay.
Without their approval, right?
I agree, but I'm only one vote, so I don't want to talk over everybody. Okay.
Are we voting?
I think we're not voting because we're not passing a motion, but I don't want to say this is what we're doing if everyone hasn't been heard. So I just want to make sure that everybody is in agreement. We're in a holding pattern. Okay. So let's go on to what yes.
Sure. If I could suggest maybe, since we do have a representative from the library commission, and it sounds like commissioner or two may be going to the library commission, maybe being a little bit more clear on the current stance of the public arts commission, where we are as a group. It sounds to me like public art is not necessarily, or the commission is of the opinion that the space not necessarily needs public art, but perhaps suggest the library commission consider whether some outdoor meeting space or additional outdoor meeting space is appropriate. And if so, then perhaps that space can be augmented by public art in some way.
Exactly what I was going to say, John.
Nicely put.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. You expressed our thoughts.
And if anyone else from our commission cares to join me on the 4th of August, please do. Okay, what was item 7, the Los Altos Poet Laureate Program? We're moving that one up as well. Are there any comments from the public before we discuss it?
Yes, I have a comment. Monica.
Go ahead, Freddie.
Okay. This is another area that the Library Commission would welcome the opportunity to collaborate with the Public Arts Commission. It is on the agenda for our meeting on Thursday, as is the potential for a outdoor meeting space. So they're both on the agenda at the Library Commission to discuss the possibility of collaborating with the Public Arts Commission in whatever role you think the Library Commission should help out, with.
Okay.
So I just wanted to be here and be present to let you know that it is on the agenda. I think it makes a great area of collaboration for the two groups. And so we're looking forward to seeing what happens in this respect as well.
Okay. Thank you. John, is there any way you could bring up, I sent you 2 pieces of email. One is the list of counties and cities that have poet laureates in California. And the other is the subcommittee's first attempt at defining the role and an application for the role.
Yep. Which one do you want to see first?
Let's look just briefly at, the list of for poet laureates. So in my copious spare time, I looked for, and this is not, of course, inclusive of all of them, but I looked at counties and cities within California that have poet laureates. And if John just kind of scrolls through this, you can see that there's a lot of cities that have this program. And from reviewing their either applications or requirements, it's kind of all over the board. It seems that most of the cities are either and counties are asking for a 1-year or 2-year term. And they tend to let the poet laureate have their own hand at defining the role. So it's, there's some requirements, but it's a little bit open-ended as far as each poet laureate is different and has a different area of interest. So can you bring up the draft? Yeah, there we go, the draft document. So the subcommittee took a try at starting an application, thinking that we'd do a 1-year term starting at sometime in 2023. We could pull it into 2022 if necessary. There is a question about what the stipend would be. I think that when Hillary was presenting it, I think she said it was, give $1,000 or $2,000, if memory serves me. And also, who would do the evaluation of the applications? John, can we have somebody outside of the commission help us? Maybe Hillary or someone with a literary background, maybe somebody from the Library Commission, both groups. We usually, when we do calls for art, we as a commission evaluate the art and the artists, but we haven't done a collaborative call before.
Yeah, I think we could figure out how to make that work.
Okay. And if we keep going down, I think that Hillary suggested that the person be at least 21 years or older. And most of the applications, if they weren't for a teen poet laureate, they were either 18 or 21 years old or older, that they work or live in Los Altos or have strong ties to our community. Here it says 2 terms, it should say 1 term, sorry about that. And we wanted them to either be published or publicly recognized in the area of poetry, and having some history of community involvement, because this is a position where they do a lot of public outreach. They're going to go to events and possibly read or put on events to try and highlight either literary art or poetry. So they have to be comfortable speaking in public or presenting in public, which also, if they have need assistance, I guess, I don't know how that would be phrased. That might be something to have our lawyers look at, because I would want it to be phrased in a way that's correct. So let's see, we have can you page down a little bit further on the eligibility restrictions? So if you, I think it was that if you are an elected official, sorry, Anita, you can't be the poet laureate. And the public arts commissioners cannot be the poet laureate. And it looks like, John, we also said that employees cannot be the poet laureate, so John can't apply. And then that comes the question, does that mean that somebody who works for the library would not be allowed to apply? So those are some questions we still need to figure out.
I don't think that a librarian would be ineligible to apply. They're not employees of the city.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Good to
And I
know.
wasn't eligible for the position under the fact that I'm not 21 yet.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're all under 21. Yeah, sorry, John, you can't apply. Let's page down a little bit further, please. Okay. We have some information about that the poet laureate is going to enter an agreement with the city, and that of course would have to be reviewed by our city attorney, because it just has to be. We also would want that if the poet laureate is going to read a poem that is their own, that at an event, I think that the Public Arts Commission or subcommittee should review it, just to make sure that it fits our guidelines and our community's guidelines. So we'll need to get that verbiage in there too. John, if you can page down a little bit further. And we also took a stab at some questions for an application: the usual name, your address. Do you have you done this before? Have you been published? Are you at least 21 years old, et cetera, et cetera? Page down a little bit further. And then resume, a personal statement and vision for the position, and a bibliography and some published or unpublished poems. And 2 letters of recommendation, and then an e-signature. So I think this is pretty straightforward. So I think we're still working on it, and we need to do some outreach as far as who we can have help go through the applicants, and possibly coordinate with the library commission, and perhaps somebody outside of our commission to help us go through the applicants. So we still have a little bit of work to do. And I think that's it. Down to the bottom of the page. All right. Do we have any comments from the commission on this particular topic? Nope. I think this is a new area for all of us, because poetry is, I can't say it's foreign to me, but it's not my area of expertise. So perhaps we can get Hillary to come back and help us evaluate applicants. So that would be good. But we'll, we as a subcommittee, I guess we'll come back next month with a little more information and a little more fleshing out of the particular program. Okay.
Quick
So
question,
yes.
before you go on. John, can you run this all past, is this far enough along that you want to run this past Jolie yet, or do you want to wait till there's another iteration from the commission?
I'll probably bring it up with her and just talk with her at least at a high level, and see if she has any initial concerns. And then once it's a little more fleshed out, really bring her the details on it.
Thanks.
Lucy?
Yeah, I have a question about published. Do we have to specify published in a school newspaper, in a school thing, or is it published professionally? Do we have to make a distinction? You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think as long as they've completed works and presented them to the public in some form, I think that would
Okay.
be enough of a requirement. And that can be a school newspaper, perhaps a blog post,
Okay.
you know, as long as they've been confident enough in their work to present it to
do
the
it to
public.
the public. Okay, just clarification point.
No, it's a good question. All right. So I think we are working on this and the subcommittee will come back next month. And John, if you hear anything from Jolie that changes anything, you'll let the subcommittee know during the month?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, we'll go back to our previous agenda items, and sorry, I won't know the numbers because I've mismatched the agenda.
Chair Wald,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but before you move on to the next agenda item, I just wanted to excuse myself. As you know, I'm calling in from vacation and I'm in a different time zone. So if it's all with your permission, I am going to sign off. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good vacation.
Thank you. Have a good meeting. Bye-bye.
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
I'm signing off as well. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank
Oh,
you.
boy, we chased everyone off.
Yeah, you're scaring them.
I'm scaring them. I know, with all those requirements, and John can't be poet laureate, so everyone's running away.
We'll
All
study
right.
you.
Community outreach for the farmers market, September 8th, 2022 is our date. And I can talk to the possible entertainment to get people to come to our booth. John, before I start, did Dana send you a list of possible questions for the public while we're personing the booth?
She did.
Okay, I have not seen them, so can we display?
Yes.
So we'll go over the possible questions we can ask the public, and also then I'll talk about a possible artist that can come to the event and hopefully be a draw. All right, so we've got the outreach survey. I enjoy seeing art in the community. I enjoy seeing art in downtown Los Altos. I enjoy seeing art in Los Altos Park, and I prefer sculptures to murals. I don't know if that might not be a good question. Does anyone have any comments about these possible questions that we can talk to the public about to just get some information about what people want to see?
Can we ask them to, like, instead of just like well, it's not really a yes or no, but can we ask them to elaborate on maybe what type of art they'd like to see?
I think that was Dana's initial idea, was that these were going to be questions to try and draw people out, and then, you know, ask more questions that are, as you said, a little more information. They may not be, I forgot the term when you do surveys and you collate the information based on just the actual questions, the open-ended questions. yeah.
Open-ended.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Open-ended questions. Sorry, it was a few years ago I did my thesis. I don't remember these things.
So,
Sorry, somebody said something?
yeah, I was wondering, we're talking about outdoor art, correct?
It could be indoor art as well.
Like where would that, I mean, okay, because there's a difference of what you can do indoors that you can't do outdoors, maybe, you know.
So maybe there, I'm going to take a note. Maybe there needs to be a question. We have indoor art at the community center, and in the past we've had indoor art in the council chambers, which maybe we can ask a little later when that might be open. So yeah, that's a good point, that there should be some indoor art questions about what people would like to see inside of city-owned properties. or none at all. You know, what would they like to see?
Right.
And Jenna, I agree, maybe something to get a little bit more feedback with open-ended questions might be good too.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll give this feedback to Dana if there's no other comments. And then we were looking to maybe have an artist come and do something to draw people in. We'd talked to some glass blowers in the past and took them forever, but they finally came back and said they can't make it happen. So very sad. But I have a friend who I've taken classes from at Foothill College. He taught screen printing, t-shirt screen printing, and that's his business. And I asked him about possibly coming up with an image of Los Altos or some other image, and he could print little posters, and hopefully that, you know, he'd sit there with the screen printing stuff. Maybe we put plastic down because it can get a little messy, and hopefully that would be a draw for people. I don't know if everybody thinks that's a good idea, bad idea.
I think that's neat. Like people would bring t-shirts, or how would we?
He could do t-shirts. The problem with t-shirts is they take I've taken his t-shirt printing class like 3 times, so you usually have to put it through a machine to get it to set, and then it has to hang and dry. So I was thinking more maybe posters, little posters.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I
think it's really neat. I like that.
And I thought maybe like an image of the pet parade, or you know, I'm open for suggestions as far as what kind of image. And we could do pet parade, or I think an image of one of our sculptures may be it may not be a big seller, I'm not sure.
Is this to make money?
No, so I think John has said it at a previous meeting that these would be giveaways. So the artist can advertise their business. They can bring flyers, because he does printing workshops. So he can advertise his business, but he cannot sell whatever he makes. So these would be giveaways.
And we're not paying him to be there, right? He's volunteering his time.
We would be paying him to be there.
Okay.
He gave me a tentative quote of $1,000, which the glass blowers had wanted 3. So I think that's not a bad price. So then the question comes, September 8th is pretty close to, we have one more meeting in August, and then September 8th comes. So in order to get an image that he designs and okay it, John, would I need to make a motion that the subcommittee has the ability to decide what the image would be and how much to pay the artist to do this up to a certain amount? What would be the right way to do this without a special meeting?
Yeah, you could certainly authorize the subcommittee sort of to move forward with finalizing a design and working out the final details for the artist to be there.
Okay. Would a motion need to be made for that?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next question is for the September 8th date. Would, I guess at the next meeting, we can possibly assign time slots to person the booth? Is that a nod? Yes, John?
I thought you were asking the commission as a whole, but yeah,
Oh,
certainly.
no,
if-
I'm asking, okay. 'Cause I figured it wasn't worth having signups right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion, and then there's one other thing before I make the motion. I think for previous subcommittee, we had talked about a brochure for the public art in Los Altos. Where did we leave that? Because I'm thinking we could have that as a giveaway also.
Okay, great. I can have something ready by next meeting for us all to approve or at least look at. Does that work? Okay.
Do you know what the turnaround time for the printing is?
I think it could be pretty quick. I mean, I wasn't gonna have her print them for us. I was gonna do it at like FedEx, and I think they can do that within like 24 hours.
Okay, because yeah, our
Yeah.
next meeting, sorry, I should know the date. It's in August and it'll be like about a week or week and a half until the farmer's market date. So probably 2 weeks.
Yeah. that
Is,
shouldn't be
is
a
there
problem.
is there something special about the printing, or, I mean, could we just do it at the city?
Oh, yeah, if that's a possibility.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know like what our paper options are. I would like to do it on like a nice heavy stock glossy paper.
Okay. Let's you
But
and
I
I
mean,
talk.
we could buy
let's-
that and then,
Yeah, let's you and I talk and see
Okay.
if we can work it so that we can do it at the city.
great.
Okay. Okay, so then I would like to make a motion that the Community Outreach Farmers Market subcommittee is allowed to talk to, his name is Eric Nealand, and work with him as far as, and the city staff as far as signing a contract, agreeing upon a price up to, let's say, $2,000, just put a buffer in there because there's going to be cost for paper and such. And work on an image and have it ready for the next meeting.
Can you remind us again who's on the committee? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure. I can't remember if I'm on it and I don't want to forget.
No, it's myself and Terry and Dana.
Thank you.
And I just remember, Jenna, that we had worked on or discussed doing the brochure as part of the art, I don't want to say task force, but the we're reaching out to the other arts organizations. So that's why I was asking.
Sorry to interrupt.
John, if Jenna is working on a brochure for an event, I guess it's not just the event, it's also for the commission as a whole. So it's okay for her to work on that.
Yeah, and
Correct.
she's going to work on it separate from the subcommittee that's doing the farmers market, and she's going to bring it to the next commission meeting, so it's totally fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, just wanted to make sure. So I think my motion still stands.
Could you read the motion, please?
Yeah, so the motion is that the subcommittee is allowed to engage with Eric Nealand, the artist, and work with him and city staff on a contract and on an image or two to print at the farmers market on September 8th, 2022, when we have our booth.
Okay.
I think, Terry, you're on mute.
I second the motion.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Couture,
Yes,
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
And if for some reason Eric comes back and says he can't do it, then I guess we'll have a special meeting and come up with another idea. But I'm hoping that is not what's going to happen.
Has anybody spoken with him since?
Yeah, he's out of town, actually. He was coming back to town today, but the subcommittee will need to engage with John and Eric as far as, I guess, writing up a contract, and then we'll need to work with him on coming up with an image or two that would be acceptable.
Okay.
So, all right. I'll let him know, and then John, I'll talk to you as far as how we go about this, because I've never done this before. Okay, community center art. So we started a program where we do calls for art from the community as to hang in the community center. And I believe the current show is supposed to go down in October, so we need to come up with a new call for art. We had a subcommittee that worked on the community center. It was myself, Hillary, and Lucy. Hillary is obviously not here anymore. And we decided that that subcommittee, I think at the last meeting, that it had run its course. So we probably do need a new subcommittee. And we need to start thinking about putting out a new call for art, coming up with a theme, and trying to solicit the public as far as getting some artwork for. We have one wall dedicated to our art in the community center. So I think the way to start is just to see who would like to be on this commission, this subcommittee. And I'm thinking maybe the next call could be photography. You know, we could do something, people love to take photos. So maybe a photography exhibit.
Can I
Carrie?
suggest that there's two commissioners that are gone, and I know that Janet likes the community center, so I feel like it's not fair for us to make a decision on this time, but
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It's hard if we're missing two out of, and we're down one and we're missing two. So you're right. That's a good point. If we wait till August, the only problem is we'll need to get something pretty quickly out there, but I think it can be done. So I'm okay with waiting till next month. If John, can we bring this up again next month, put it on the agenda?
Yep.
Okay.
July, August. So if we get it out August, we have September. We have 1 month.
Yeah,
That should be okay.
that should be okay. Okay. I think we're getting down to the wire here. Sculpture maintenance evaluation. John, you got a report.
Yes, I did. As you can see, the in the packet, the report came in. They evaluated 5 sculptures, and even though they said that they had the wrong city, they are our sculptures, and so you have them in your packet should you wish to discuss or maybe explore further or see if there's any potential next steps for these sculptures.
Can I ask does anyone know, I was not on that subcommittee, where the list of sculptures that they evaluated came from? Or did we just say, go through the city, find some sculptures? John, do you know, or?
I don't know. I believe it had to do with the ones that were originally identified 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago as in perhaps most visual disrepair.
The reason I ask is Jasper Priestess was on the list, and that's on loan. It's not owned by the city, so I felt like it was money not well spent working on a loan piece, but I guess it's water under the bridge at this point. So looking at the list, Musical Gamble has always kind of been a thorn on the side of the commission. And previously we'd been given a quote of, I think, $35,000 to fix it. And this group came back with 31, which is not much difference between. And I went online trying to find what his name is, Roger Clements, I believe, what the cost of his pieces are. And I can't find it. I'm hesitant to spend that much money until we know if that piece is worth investing $31,000
To fix it, 31.
to fix it. Yes. It was donated, I think, in 1991 or 1992 to the city, so it's been there a long time. It's a nice pop of color while you're driving down Foothill. But
A lot of money.
it's a lot of, yes. Yeah, I mean, if the piece is worth 100,000 or 200,000, maybe. If it's worth 50,
How do you know what it's worth?
well, that's the question. I guess we have to have it appraised, which of course costs money. But it might be a good idea that, and there was one other piece that I think was 16,000 to fix. Maybe we need an appraisal before we put that kind of money into these pieces.
It'll add the cost, but
Well, it will, but
we need it.
If,
mean-
could I maybe make a suggestion or
yes.
offer a bit? I don't know that the commission needs to think about the monetary value of the pieces, simply because I don't think that the intent is to sell the pieces at any point. I think more thinking of, is the dollar amount to maintain it, to preserve it for X number of additional years? Is that more the value? You know, if and I'm not a art preservationist, but if, you know, in its current state, it's gonna, you know, the sculpture is gonna need to come down in, say, 10 years. But if the dollars are spent and we'll get another 40 years out of it, I think that's more the value question for the commission, rather than, you know, are we spending more than it's actually worth? Just because I don't think the intent is to sell the pieces at any point.
Yeah.
I know we have a quorum now, but I also feel like we should have a full commission to make this decision. I'm not really comfortable making the decision without the full commission. Sorry.
No, I agree, because I see both sides, what John's saying versus if, you know, the city has an asset worth X and it costs 2X to fix it. Is it a local favorite? Do people really love the piece? Is it worth putting 2X in to save it? I'm not really sure. And Terry, I agree with you. Maybe we should table it till the next meeting.
Is there anything we can do between now and then that will help us to assess it? I mean, does the public like it? Is it worth? I mean, how
So
can
musical gamble is one that a previous commissioner loved that piece, and he did a lot of work in order to possibly have us fix it. I can talk with him and see if he got any feedback from the public. We could survey people at the farmers market.
Yeah,
Terry?
it's
Monica,
important.
there's an old survey that I have somewhere that was taken a couple years ago about which ones people like the most, and I could look that survey up and report back next time.
I think that's Pat Marriott's survey, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was attached to our master art plan that
Yes.
went nowhere. Yeah, I'll take a look at that as well.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's
thank you.
important to know, because we're spending quite a bit of money. And is it what the people want or like?
Another thing is, though, as John was saying, it's a city-owned asset, so we have to think of
Right.
it as like
Okay.
it's like a building that the city owns, and you know, do we let it go into disrepair? Do we just say it's time and rip it out? You know,
No,
how
but if
do we
we've
handle
bought
that?
it, we should keep it up, I think, upkeep it.
Well, I know Musical Gamble was donated. I'm not sure about the other piece that has a large price tag. I'd have to go back and look at the report, but I think Terry's right. We should table this till we have
Right.
more members John, did you have a comment? No, okay.
I just have a quick question. Who determined that amount? Was it the artist that would be repairing it, or is it like a preservation company?
It's a preservation
The
company.
preservation
Oh,
company.
Yeah.
okay.
It'd be the group that did this survey. That's my understanding, is that would be their cost to fix the sculptures.
And okay. And I'm assuming it's detailed, right? Like we know.
Yeah, it's
exactly
very,
what they're
yeah, if you
doing.
look at it, it's very detailed.
Okay.
So let's table it and we'll bring it up again next meeting. I mean, the pieces aren't falling down right now, so there are the two pieces by the library, which I think are the main library, not the library, the main library, sorry, that were included in the report that the price tags were a little bit less. And I think those are probably fan favorites and might be worth investing in to upkeep them, but we can discuss that next meeting.
How about may I have this dance? Did we decide?
Will you dance with me? Actually, that's on my list of things to ask John about. John, can we discuss that now, or do we have to go into informational items to talk about that?
We can talk about it under informational items.
Okay, well, I think we are done with our sculpture maintenance evaluation agenda items. So let's go into informational items. John.
So to start, to follow on that question, the commission had voted to relocate it to a few blocks down. That has not happened yet. Obviously, it's on the list of projects, as well as moving the mother hen on its pad. We've had other priorities that have sort of taken precedent, and so they're both on the list to get done at some point. Another item to report on, if you weren't able to watch the July 12th council meeting, the council did approve the purchase of both the T2 and the Midnight Stomp series. So
And let me throw in at 11:40 at night.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a little late, but they did approve it. So I've reached out to the artist to start the process for the city to purchase those two pieces.
That's
No.
their norm.
Yeah.
Yes, and John, just to double check, they approved it, but does it go on to the consent calendar for their next meeting end of August, or no?
No, they've approved it.
So
Okay.
which two are these? Sorry, I must
So T2 is the one that is out in front of the new community center. It's the one with the egret and the I believe it's a poppy at the bottom. That question came up during the meeting as well.
I know, John
where's
and
the
I
one at the
looked at each
bottom?
other like, oh no.
I did go out, and it is a poppy. And then the other is the Midnight Stomp series, which is the set of 3 dancing birds out in front of the downtown Safeway.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And then the last thing to report on we have.
And John, can I ask a question? When Jenna works on the brochure for public art, should she include those two pieces?
I think it would be safe to do so.
Okay, thank you.
And then the last item we have, two separate calls for art. The one that was previous, we have one more artist to install his pieces. I've been in contact with him. It will be probably sometime in the fall. Will be the earliest that he can get back out to California. And then the new call for art is out, and I believe submissions are due sometime in October.
I think it's the 13th of October, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And am I allowed to ask a question at this point that is not related to the items that you brought up?
Potentially.
Potentially. Okay. As I drive through Los Altos, I see story poles and a lot of potential building Any inkling if we will be getting more money from Percent for Art anytime soon?
I mean, it'll be the same answer that you get tired of me saying it, which is it all depends on when the applicants pull their permits and pay for all their fees. So we will be getting additional dollars, but as to the exact timing, I couldn't say.
Okay.
What about
And
the amount? Do we know the amount?
I don't know the amount either, right, off the top of my head. I'd have to do some research.
there is one more informational item, I believe. We do have a commission opening, and it is published that the city is taking applications till August 19th, I believe.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay, and then they'll talk to the people who applied. We'll talk to the city council end of August, and then I guess the decision will be made early September. They'll be sworn
Yes.
in, and they'll join us possibly end of September for our September
Yeah.
meeting with this person.
That would be
Yeah.
ideal.
Okay. So tell your friends, family, neighbors, only if they live in Los Altos, come join us. Okay, I think this is the quickest meeting. I actually have a launch event to go to that starts in 3 minutes. I have to drive to Menlo Park now. Are there any other informational items or any other comments before we call it a night?
I have a question.
Okay.
John, did Janet submit the slideshow for the rock painting event? I was gonna do like a recap of it, but
Yeah, I'll have to go and look and see if I know she sent me something, but I don't remember if it was a slideshow or not.
Okay, can we put that on the agenda for the next meeting then?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, my clock says it is 5:58.
Can I move we adjourn?
I think it's Miller time and time to go do our farmers market shopping at the Los
Right.
Altos Farmers Market. All right, everybody, have a good month.
Thank
thank
you.
you.